This is the plaintiff, Cynthia Mickens. She says she was walking by a park bench with the sleeping defendant on it. And as she passed, his dog lunged at her dog and bit him. Her dog was gushing blood. She took him to the vet, and the defendant refuses to reimburse her for the bill. This guy has some nerve because he was totally at fault. Her dog was injured, and he owes her every penny of the $521.96 she's owed. These are the defendants, James Ellis and Ernesto Roman. James says his friend's dog went over to play with the plaintiff's dog who wasn't interested, and they parted. 10 minutes later, this woman returns, claiming the dogs were in a fight and her dog was injured. When he looked, it seemed like a piece of glass cut the woman's dog, and she was trying to blame him. This lawsuit is nothing more than a shakedown. There was no incident, and they owe her nothing. They're accused of napping at the wrong time.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff was walking by a park bench, and suddenly this sleeping defendant's dog came out, lunged, and hurt her dog badly. But the defendant says the dogs were playing, and their dog did nothing. It's the case of dog eat dog, literally.
Thank you, Douglas. Cynthia Mickens, you are suing Ernesto Roman and Gail Quesada and James Ellis. You have power of attorney for Gail, Ernesto, right?
Yes.
Okay. For $521.96 in vet bills that you had to pay as a result of a dog bite from Ernesto and Gail's dog. Okay, what happened?
I was walking my dog through the complex, and on the right-hand side of me, I saw a gentleman there sleeping.
Which gentleman did you see sleeping?
James
Okay.
Ellis.
How do you know he was sleeping?
He had his head down.
Did you see his eyes?
No, he had on shades.
Well, then how do you know he was sleeping? Just looked that way to you?
It appeared that way to me, that he was
All right.
sleeping. And as I was walking by, a dog come out of nowhere and started attacking my dog.
What kind of dog do you have?
I have a pit bull mix.
Was your dog on a leash?
Yes.
Was his dog on a leash, or Ernesto's dog on a leash?
Yes.
Okay, I want to understand the very first second that something bad happens. Tell me about it. You're walking by and you're how far from the bench?
Maybe a couple of feet away from the bench.
So you're walking by the bench and out of nowhere a dog comes and does what?
Start attacking my dog.
Okay, by attacking is a conclusion. Tell me precisely what the
Biting her.
Where was that dog biting your dog?
Biting her on her legs and biting her in her face.
Did either of the two dogs, you know how pit bulls clamp down and don't let go? Or was it bite here, bite there? What was it?
It was bite there, bite there.
What was your reaction when this happened?
I was trying to pull her leash, pull her, away from the dog. And the more I pulled away, the more the dog continued to attack her.
And what was James's reaction? Had the leash gotten away from him?
Yes.
All right, and then what happens?
He decided, I guess once he realized what was going on, he came to get the dog.
How many steps did he have to walk?
Maybe four or 5 steps.
Okay, 4 or 5 steps would be a lot further than 2 or 3 feet from the bench then. How far were you from the bench? Take my bailiff. Mm-hmm. Okay, and you come over and show me how far you were when you walked. Wait, he is James. Okay. You get as far from James. That because you can control your own movements. Okay. So that's how far you were from the bench?
That's how I was from
the
bench.
That is not 2 or 3 feet, right? Okay, so that's maybe 6 feet? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if a 6-foot man lied down there, or 5 foot something, 5'8", something like that?
Yes.
All right, go ahead and go back there. I measure all my distances by men. James, let me talk to you first because you weren't there, right?
No.
Okay, so let me talk to you first. What happened?
All right, I'm sitting on the bench, right? I have my shades on, these same shades right here.
Are you sleeping?
No, I'm not sleeping. When the dog walked by, when she walked by with her dog, my dog, anytime you see, not my dog, Mr. Nesto's dog,
Are you two roommates?
No, he's my brother-in-law.
Brother-in-law, okay.
Yeah, we walk the dog together.
When my dog, he likes to play with other dogs. So he automatically ran. When he ran,
Was he on a leash?
Yes, he was on the leash.
Did the leash get away from you?
Right, it came out of my hand, it slipped out of my hand.
Okay.
Now, as soon as it slipped out of my hand, I jumped up and ran and grabbed him. When I grabbed him, I pulled him and I sat back down on the bench. I said, "Is everything cool?" She said, "Oh, you ought to hold a tighter leash. You ought to keep a tighter rein on him." So I said, "Okay, no problem." I said, "Everything is cool." She said, "Yeah." And she walks away. 10 minutes later, she come back up the block talking about her dog is wounded. And I'm saying, well, how is your dog is wounded when my dog is running after your dog?
How is your dog wounded when my dog what?
Right, it's chasing her dog. When she showed me the wound on the leg, right, when she came back 10 minutes later and showed me this scratch
So
on
you
the
saw
hind
a scratch
quarters.
on the leg?
Yes, a small scratch I saw.
Okay, let me
And
see
I'm
the
saying,
vet report.
How could that happen when my dog is chasing your dog? They never touched. That's what
Okay, so what you're testifying to is that they never touched.
No, they never touched.
Yeah, but she says that your dog actually bit her dog.
That's a lie.
Okay.
That is a cold-blooded lie.
You get involved when? She brings you the bill.
Right. I went upstairs when I was with James, and then I was upstairs, and then I get a knock on the door, and about a half hour later and better, she came upstairs with the dog.
Well, did James tell you what had happened?
No, James came upstairs with the dog, and he said, Jerry was running around another dog.
Jerry's
over
the
there.
dog's name?
Yeah, Jerry. I call him Jerry Springer.
Okay.
For short. Yeah.
Why do you call him Jerry Springer?
Because he's so playful with children. And
He's an
people love
instigator?
him.
What, Jerry Springer's playful with children?
Yeah.
He's an instigator?
He's good. He's good with the women.
Good with the women?
Every time someone says hello to him, he'll look up to the girls and he go.
Okay,
and
that's
lick 'em right
disgusting,
there.
and I...
Exactly.
I don't know, because I'm not thinking of his dog, I'm thinking of Jerry.
He does it all the time. Every time a girl goes near him, they say, hello,
I will
Jerry.
never be able to get that out of my head.
Yeah,
All right, so go ahead.
So when she came to the door, I said, how you doing? I heard what happened. And she says, yeah, your dog attacked my dog. And I said to her, oh, I'm sorry to hear that, because normally, I'm hoping nothing bad happened. So I came out of the door and I walked around to her dog and I examined the dog carefully. And I says, where's he hurt at? He looks just fine. She looks just fine to me. And she goes, right here by the leg. And I said, oh, that's just a little teeny, small little scratch. That's nothing. If you want to have some triple antibiotic ointment, you could just put it on there. It'll be just fine. And normally dogs, pit bulls or whatever, they lick their little wounds, and within a day or two, it just heals itself, basically.
Oh, yeah.
If it's a small scratch.
Dogs have a property, apparently, that heal wounds.
It heals wounds, right. But if it's something small.
My husband has the dog lick his wounds.
Yeah.
It's really
I had
disgusting.
a wound, too.
But-
I had a wound.
But that's what, and his brother, the doctor, told him, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I had a wound, too. And my dog, I let him lick it, believe it or
I'm
not.
going to get a bunch of emails on
And
that.
Anybody here heard that about dogs having this property where if they lick a wound, it'll heal faster?
Yes, I have heard of that.
Never tried it?
No,
Why? If it works.
I don't think it'll work. Not at all.
Well,
Not
but you just,
necessary.
anybody think it'll work? I mean, the idea is they have some kind of healing. Here's the thing. They actually do have healing properties that will allow this. My question is, would you ever allow a dog to lick your wound and make it heal faster?
No, dogs lick everything. You don't know. It might get more infected. That just sounds gross.
Yeah, but you know what? You want to start talking about what people do? I mean, you want to get real for a second? And that won't heal a wound. That'll sometimes create one going inside the courtroom.
Well, here's what I understand. I understand you to be saying, and it's not that I don't get you. You're saying, look, there was no need to take the dog to a
the
vet.
SPCA
You could have treated these wounds
Easily.
yourself. Okay,
Easily.
I hear you. All right, and maybe 50% of dog owners would have looked at it, seen it wasn't deep, and maybe have done that. This dog owner didn't want to do that. She wanted to make sure everything was okay. So she took her dog to the vet. It's a very interesting legal question. When you go to court, what you are entitled to are the reasonable expenses that come from the bad thing that happened.
Right.
So there are two parts to any lawsuit. One is liability and the other is damages. The liability is clear.
Right, okay.
I'm in the middle of something, so don't
right.
think about what you want to
Yes,
say.
yes.
Just listen to me. He's dozing off, or he says he wasn't. It's worse if he wasn't. And the dog gets away from him. You have an obligation under the law to have control of your dog. When your dog gets away from you on a leash, you are not somebody with control of your dog. So the liability part of this lawsuit is very clear. The part you are contesting is the damages part, because you feel that a little ointment and a little love would have done it. Okay. There is a world where that might work. I don't know that I would take my dog to the vet for any cut that happens. The thing is, I would take my dog to the vet for any cut that happens as a result of a bite from a strange pit bull. As it turns out, there was no puncture wound. But wounds were found in the following locations: abrasions on her first digit of right hind limb, full thickness cut on left elbow, left stifle, and left commissure of her lip. Sandy was sedated so that the wounds could be clipped, cleaned, and flushed. No sutures or drains were necessary. That's why the bill's not $2,000 or $3,000. You have a dog, right? So you know what vet bills can be. So what she's asking for is what it actually was, which is $586. You've paid $65 of it, because at one point you were like, yeah, my bad, and you started to pay. What happened was you paid a little here, a little there, and then according to you, what happened at that point?
They were going to, all three of them were going to get together and pay the bill. So they were going to give something, all three of them were going to give something each month. But when I got the first payment, it was $25. The second payment, they gave me $40. Ernest came to me and he said to me that James has a problem with contributing money towards the bill because he doesn't think that it's
Wow, you got
serious.
some nerve. Let me tell you something. It's your fault. And yes, you need to contribute to the bill. In fact, you don't only need to contribute, you should be paying the whole thing.
Okay.
Okay? The dog got away from you. Listen, there's nothing wrong with the dogs. The dogs are dogs. It's the human conduct that gets punished in court. And the human conduct is you lost control of your dog. Yeah.
But you just said at the beginning, and you said, I know pit bulls. Did he lock on to the
Yeah,
dog?
right.
No, that's why there's not $3,000. Listen, most of these pit bull cases are $3,000 worth of. Yeah, okay, so it's only $500. You heard me read exactly what the doctor did.
Yes.
And yes, there are maybe 50% of dog owners would just take care of that themselves, but maybe she's not comfortable doing that. She's never had this happen. So she wants to make sure the dog's okay. It was a pit bull after all. What if there's a puncture wound? And when there's a puncture wound, she's not qualified to decide if there's a puncture wound. When there's a puncture wound, there could be an organ that's affected. So you can't sit back and say, you shouldn't have cost me so much money. No, you shouldn't have been asleep at the helm and letting go of the leash, okay? $521.96, which is the remainder after the $65 verdict for the plaintiff. Good luck, folks.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff does get her money. Finally, here come the owners of the pit bull. If you'll step out here. Gentlemen, if you knew how many pit bull cases we have here in the People's Court, you'd be amazed.
I can imagine.
You're not afraid of having a pit bull, huh?
No, it's not. It's his dog. It's not mine.
Normally in a situation like this, what we're just trying to say is that the dog, when they're pit bulls in around the neighborhood we were living in, and the dog would lock onto the dog.
I know you tried to explain that, but
she cares for the dog.
She went to the vet, and
she does.
you know,
she cares for the dog, and I understand.
she does her money.
She does.
She does deserve.
She cares for the dog. I
Okay,
understand.
cool. All right.
You want to bring the
You
dog.
got to pay it. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Have a nice
Live with it and hold on tighter. That's the way out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now here comes Ms. Mikens. Sorry you had to go through this. How is the puppy?
She's doing fine.
She doing good?
Yes, my baby's doing fine.
We're proud of that. We're happy for you.
Yes.
Okay. There's not much else to say. Take care of her.
Thank you.
Stay away from that dog.
Oh, surely
Okay,
I
very
will.
good. Harvey, what do you think?
Okay, Doug, here's the deal. Even if a dog is on a leash, it doesn't necessarily mean you've satisfied the leash law. The leash law not only requires the dog to be on that leash, but you have to have control of the leash, control of the dog. And if the dog gets away from you, automatically, you didn't have control. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.